Good afternoon, or evening, or morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Avery, that gal with the deep voice, and we are finally back with some more Super Mario Galaxy. Now, I actually have quite the tale to tell you. First of all, we're on the Nintendo Wii. We're not on the Wii U this time. Because I wanted to play on my old CRT because I was noticing a lot of lag and stuff whenever I was playing it on the HD system. I kinda wish my pointer would turn because my HD TV is literally right next to my CRT. Secondly, I swear this is a cursed recording because. Okay, you see this total here? We were at 17 last time. Now we're at 22. My starbit count is much higher. I think it was a little under 1,000 or so. Maybe it was over 1,000. I'm not real sure. But now it's over 2,000. In fact, it's 2,200 now. So, okay. That's weird. But what happened was that every time I tried recording this game, something stupid would happen, or, some BS. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but basically every single time I set up the recording or whatever, it was just either someone would interrupt me, my commentary would end up sucking, so I decided to redo everything. The audio levels were really screwed up, or just some level of nonsense. It's just, it was so irritating. It has been so irritating, man. I don't know why this recording session just could not get off the ground worth a dang. I mean, seriously. And all we're doing is just heading into the space junk galaxy. I don't know why that was so freaking difficult, I tell ya. Okay, I feel a little better now. Now that I've just let that out of my system because it legitimately pissed me off. But at the very least, we don't have to wait for stars to show up and we can actually skip the cutscene. Which personally, I don't really like seeing the cutscenes, even though they are very well animated. They're very cool. Like, hey, this is where you're supposed to go. If I could skip the cutscenes, I definitely would. But of course, first approach to the new area, and you kinda have to have the cutscene because, what if there's a new player or something? Man, I'm really bitchy today. I'm so sorry. You can blame the lack of sleep for that one because, I tell ya, with music like this, it makes me really want to go down for a nap. And I actually did do that. I was so freaking tired and wiped out yesterday that I went to bed at 4 p.m. Fortunately, I didn't have to go to work that day, so I just decided to take a good long nap. And I don't think I woke up until like 8 in the evening, if that tells you anything, because let me tell you how my sleep schedule works. First of all, I'm nocturnal, quite obviously. If anyone has paid a visit to the Twitter page, you'll know that on my description I literally describe myself as nocturnal, meaning that my sleep schedule falls somewhere very early in the morning, meaning that I crash early in the morning and wake up sometime in the afternoon. Well, with my college classes, that's no longer possible because for some reason, the only time they were offered was in the morning. So I have to wake up at hours that I'm not really used to. Again, it feels a lot like high school, which, if I'm being honest, I didn't like high school very much for that reason. I was always tired, so my morning classes were always terrible, and the issue only got worse as I spent more time at that wretched place. I really don't miss high school. If I had to really do anything again, it would not be go back to high school. I hate that place. I was definitely at my most miserable while I was there. And much like my increasing sleep deprivation, the depression, anxiety, and crap like that just got worse and worse as the years went on. Not without reason, because, crazy things in my life just happened to fall into place around that time. I had a lot of death in the family, as well as just a bunch of other crazy stuff I'd rather not talk about. But, yeah, couple that with little sleep, and life is miserable. So, one can understand why I was not thrilled to have to do this whole lack of sleep thing again, because at most I usually only get about 5 hours of sleep. At worst, I'm getting less than 4. So, yeah. That's no bueno. I'll tell you more in the next stage. Alright, so along with a bunch of sleep deprivation, one of the classes I gotta take is freaking Spanish. And, ugh. If I had to do. If I had to exchange one of my classes for something else, I would definitely exchange Spanish for a subject that I'm just more into. That's kind of the difference. I mean, I actually have to wake up earlier for one of my art classes. I have to wake up, I think, around 9 something, so that I can take the car to work, or take the car to school. And it can be kind of problematic if I haven't had a whole lot of sleep. But I still find that I wake up a lot easier whenever I'm at a class that I really care about, rather than a class that's just boring as sin. That's not to say that Spanish is terrible. If you enjoy Spanish, you go right ahead and enjoy it. I actually do have a classmate that wants to learn Spanish, and he's a cool guy. I'm kind of glad I got to meet him. But the overall experience is about the same as last year. I had to take Spanish last year as well. So this would be basically term 2 of Spanish. Not like I failed the first Spanish class, I didn't. I actually passed. But the fact is that if it's outside of my special interests or whatever, I just am not going to be very interested in the class, and it's just going to put me to sleep. And actually, there were a lot of times during that original Spanish class that I legitimately did fall asleep. Like, my head was nodding back and forth, so I wasn't all there. I'll admit it. It was just freaking stupoid that I had to wake up so damn early for a class that I really didn't want to take in the first place, and I was praying to freaking Santa Christ that I wouldn't have to take a foreign language class, and unfortunately I did. Because, you know, I almost kind of wonder why they do that. Because, they say, oh, it's really good for you. When the hell are you going to use a foreign language unless you leave the country? Yeah, there are going to be people that don't speak English, but at the same time, you can find someone that does speak Spanish, and usually you'll have a pretty good idea as to what they want. And yeah, it's a little more inconvenient and stuff like that, but, I would much rather have an interpreter where it's their damn job to do stuff like that, or just have a friend nearby that knows the language, rather than have to learn it. Man, I sound like a brat, don't I? I'm so sorry. But I legitimately it's miserable to me. I just don't find Spanish all that interesting. It's a pretty language. I just don't want to speak it. I don't want to have to learn it. I wish it were more just an option. But the fact that it's required for my degree, which, by the way, is an art, so I have no freaking clue why you would need to learn Spanish. Math I can kind of get, because, you have to make do with Like, you have to do finances and stuff like that. So I get why math would be needed for an art class. Plus, you need to know at least some arithmetic and some basic geometry and trigonometry and stuff for, art projects and stuff so that you can better center everything. But then again, what do I know? Okay, I haven't always liked math, but I don't know. Over the years, I've actually kind of taken on like a mild amusement from certain facets of math, like weird number patterns and stuff like that. I find that stuff to be really amusing, but you know, I guess it just comes down to I don't like having to do something that I don't think is necessary. So, I don't know. I guess that's just my rant on that subject. I don't like Spanish for that reason. There you go. Case closed. Alright, moving on to something else now. Now that I've bitched to hell about stupid things that I just would prefer not to think about. This is the kind of stuff, by the way, you get whenever you get a tired Avery. I tend to get very bitchy, and I apologize. But, some people really enjoy that, and if you enjoy that and get a odd, sick thrill out of it, then I'm kind of glad that you do. But, that's not what I enjoy doing most often. I mean, some of my friends may disagree, and because, I tend to have a nasty habit of bitching and stuff like that, but, well, if you have a lot to talk about, you just need to get it off your chest. And, at the very least, I don't have much to complain about here. I get to hear freaking space fantasy, man. On a disembodied Yoshi head floating in the middle of an asteroid belt. That's interesting. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. I was talking about bitching and all that good shit. Honestly, if you gotta talk or whatever, you gotta complain a little bit, it's not actually a bad thing. Actually, bottling it up is one of the worst things you can do. Because that's what I did for a long, long time, like before I turned 18, and finally got some form of counseling. That's what I did because I didn't think anyone would want to listen to my problems. And yeah, because of that, I had several outbursts. I did things that I wasn't proud of. So, I guess moral of this story, while we're running around Yoshi's amazingly gigantic head here, is get counseling. And if you got a bitch, just bitch. And just get it all out of your system. Just don't make it a habit of doing it every day. That's the moral of the story. Anyway, I'll meet you back here in just a second. Okay, I'm back. I wasn't gonna do, okay, I return! Because I don't know what the hell I was thinking that day. I tell you, that was one of the stupidest freaking things I ever said. I guess I could probably talk a little bit about this music we got going on here. It's actually pretty good music. I do rather enjoy Space Junk's theme, despite the fact that it is clearly a lullaby and at my current state probably isn't a good idea to be listening to, but good music is good music, though it took me a while to really acknowledge that it was decent music, because for the longest time, I didn't like Space Junk's theme. I just thought it was too damn slow, and I hated the fact that it was, in fact, a lullaby kind of thing. But, over time, you play the game long enough, and you grow an appreciation for it. I've actually had a lot of times where, playing a game long enough really did give me a major appreciation for a specific song. Like, I'm trying to think here, like, what's a good example? Um, Damn, I'm trying to really think, like, at least with this series. let's see. Da, 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 da. Damn it, I'm running low on, like, songs. I had, like, a whole list of them in my head just a second ago, and then I forgot what it was. Also, fuck you, Spider, you get to die. I'm afraid you'll have to die! Why are we starting that shit again? I tell ya. That's some stupoid shit right there. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now I know what it was. One of the songs I was going to mention wasn't even going to be a Mario song, and that's why I got so mad. Actually, it was the main theme of Pikmin. You know that... You know, that song. I know it's not the main theme of Pikmin, but I don't know. That's the first song I got introduced, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This isn't music, man. This is not music. This is weird. It is so weird. But over time, I kind of grew an appreciation. It's kind of like, you know, it kind of sounds like something you'd hear on a nature documentary. Which I guess is what they were going for. It really does show that age really does give you some kind of insight into some things if you're not really thinking about it. Another song I'd say took me a while to really warm up to is from Super Mario 64. And it's the slider theme. That's the one I was thinking of. You know, like da 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 da. You know that song? I guess it's Stockholm Syndrome or whatever, but I legitimately like the song. I think it's actually kind of decent. I make jokes about it. It's like, this is clearly the theme of Mario 64 considering how often it plays, but... stupid sneeze. But it really is. Sorry, I had to get my bearings back to what I was saying. I had a sneeze there for a second, one of the most obnoxious functions of the body. Just had a real nice sneeze because it has to lubricate my nose. Gotta get my nose. Gotta clean it out. Man, you don't want to hear this shit from a gal. Oh well. Oh well. I was talking about the slider theme, but then I started talking about a sneeze because I sneezed. I don't even know where I was going to go with that. I guess it wasn't that important. But it just shows that some songs will grow on you. I guess that's the moral of the story. It takes time, but listen to a few songs, and they may warm to you. Now here's a star that I was actually debating on showing you here. Polestar Path speedrun, because basically all it is, it's basically the same mission. That's all it is. It's the same mission, just with a timer. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with these kind of missions, these, quote, speedrun missions, because they give you more than enough time to get through the stage, and I don't necessarily think that was for the best. Like, why did they even call it a speedrun? This is basically just go through the stage again, only with the time limit. Yeah, I don't know why that's a thing. If you are even mildly good at this game, you should have no issues whatsoever beating the game within the allotted time limit, if not less. If you're really going to make it tougher, I would actually say knock down the time limit. Like, make it so that you have to beat the stage in 3 minutes, or, you know, do kind of what Galaxy 2 did and limit the time limit to something really, really short, and you have to keep collecting the clocks, or else, you know, you'll die. And mind you, sorry, I had to take a breath there, and my thoughts are just trying to get gathered, and I'm trying to focus on getting through the stage. But honestly, this is coming from someone that isn't really a big fan of Galaxy 2, but I'll say that it definitely made things a little more challenging. If I had a criticism of Super Mario Galaxy, it's that there are parts of this game that are way too damn easy, and the speedruns are that. They are way too damn easy. It's kind of ridiculous that they are that easy, and I don't like shitting on this game. It's one of my favorite games of all time, but if something is legitimately a flaw, I probably should say that I'm not a big fan of it. Also, that looks kind of like an asteroid belt over there. Also, thank you for letting me bounce on your head, Captain Toad. That makes me feel good. Kind of wish it was the real Toad, but oh well. Another thing that I would say that Galaxy 2 did a little bit better than Galaxy 1 is that whenever the speedrun happened, usually if it were kind of like the one we have here, they would knock down the time limit significantly. Like, I remember one in Throwback Galaxy that's about the silver stars. And that mission only gave you 2 minutes to beat the stage. And you have to collect all 5 silver stars all around Womp's Fortress. Now, granted, it's not a big stage, but that really gives you a kick in the ass. Like, oh crap, I have to beat this stage and actually have some skill to beat it. It wasn't Yoshi Star. Hightail Falls, that's what it was called. I was about to call it Yoshi Star. In Hightail Falls, again, you're only given 2 minutes to beat the stage. But now, a lot of the stage is destroyed. You also have to dodge meteors, and the stage is generally more difficult. And that's what a speedrun should be. If they really wanted to make it more difficult, they really should have made the Space Junk Galaxy, a lot harder. Like, have fewer platforms. Decrease the time limit. It's just stupid. That's what I'm trying to say. And, guys, I appreciate you listening to my rambling for this episode. This has been very relaxing for me. I hope it was for you. If you have any criticisms of your own, you know exactly what to do, and I'll see you later.